Welcome, my friends, to the showdown between the Warriors of Chaos, who shall be led by Kolek Suneater. Today, guys, we face off against the Bretonnians, who shall be led by Hadres and King Lewin. And we're also going to be coming in, I forgot to mention, with the dreaded double HELLCANNON build. So this probably isn't a meta Chaos build, but sometimes it can catch people off guard. If the Bretonnians, for example, go with like a ton of archers and don't bring a ton of cav and go for a wide infantry build, it can be very punishing, even against cav with a little bit of RNG, a little bit of luck. If the HELLCANNON's tracking can slam right into the center of some questing knights, man, it can do some work for sure. Now, as far as the build goes, it's going to be Chaos Marauders. It looks like 3 of them in the front because obviously my army is quite expensive, so I don't have a lot of good troops, which is fine. 2 groups of standard Chaos Knights. Wanted to go a little bit of a Chaos Tonia for sure because I think it's a very epic cinematic look to see Chaos Knights like charging into Bretonnia Knights. It's always very fun to see. So 2 groups of Chaos Knights, 1 here and 1 here. And these guys can go fisticuffs with the Bretonnia Knights for sure. Mainly because of their combat stats, 45, 51, 46. And if you look at Quest Knights, for example, Quest Knights are 40, 36, 48. So a little bit lower as it pertains to the stats. But of course, the Quest Knights do have that very, very juicy AP value. So it's a bit of a wash there. I think at a vacuum, Questing Knights, I don't know who would actually win. Something to test. But Questing Knights certainly for the cost to trade very well because Chaos Knights are 1,400 and Questing Knights are 1,100. So I would say that the Bretonnians do come out ahead there. We got Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows as well. 1 chariot just to be of a distraction, card effects. 2 chariots in the back, or chariots, 2 flying chariots. 2 HELLCANNONs that are going to be protected by halberds. Kolek, and that's pretty much it. So a very strange build for sure. The normal build against Bretonnia is often, it used to be back in the day, it was basically just get like 2 Shaggas and get a bunch of like chosen with halberds and just waddle forward. Or, I mean, there's other variants as well, which use like Chaos Knights and Shaggas like together. That's very strong, but this is a little bit of an off-meta build, but I think it has some teeth for sure. So for Hadres and the Bretonnians, peasant mobs in the front line with the Holy Wardens as well. He does have a Damsel of Life, Men-at-Arms or Damsel of Heavens with, Wind Blast, no, Harmonic Convergence, as well as Curse of the Midnight Wind. Very good stuff. Men-at-Arms with Polearms, a ton of archers in the back, just straight up going, blotting out the sun here with these arrows. But against a Shaggoth, honestly, this build is very well designed against Shaggoths. Like, even though Shaggoths do have decent armor, just the volume of fire, just much like the Orcs, can really bring them down and do a ton of damage. I love it. 4 Questing Knights in total, including the Companions, who are going to be on the far side, I think, or over here. He does have them. No, just regular Questing Knights, so no Companions. Interesting. And up in the sky, he does have King Lewin. And anytime you don't go for a life caster, much like Boris Todbringer with the Empire, Lewin is a very good choice and can do some work. And also, what's really strong is you basically use the Heavens caster. You use the Curse of the Midnight Wind in conjunction with the Sword of Corone to lower armor by 60, which puts Kolek down to 40 and Shaggoths down to, I think, like 10. So you can really melt them with your archers after that. So the battle's underway here. The forces of chaos are going to be surging across the desert. I'm going to be taking a bit more of a panoramic wide view here in this battle, so you guys can see all of the different HELLCANNON shots, because there is indeed a lot going on here. So the first HELLCANNON, I'm going to be targeting archers and like halberds and very tightly packed units like that. So the first shot goes in, a bit of a swing and a miss. And like I said, HELLCANNONs are a bit RNG centric. They're not the most accurate artillery pieces, but you know, they can get in there and do some serious damage for sure. And also, you know, you get to use Chaos Dwarves, which is always very fun. So the Bretonnian's collapsing pretty hard here. Here comes another shot. Unfortunately, all misses so far, so not doing any Queen Best magic, but nonetheless not doing terribly. Here we do take an engagement against Questing Knights, so the Marauders charge in, and also some Chaos Knights, and you can see we're winning that engagement pretty heavily, largely due to the fact that the Enfeebling Foe is active, but unfortunately King Lewin's coming in pretty balls deep, and at this point I basically grab my chariots, and I'm like just gonna run into the sunset, and hopefully like the Questing Knights will chase me in circles back there, buying me time in the main fight. So still not the best situation, but we'll see how it goes. The Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows is able to get away, but Chaos Knights with Marauder support are able to win that fight against Questing Knights, and the HELLCANNONs are dropping some hot fire here and spitting it here on the Peasant Bowmen. On the far side, we have another engagement as well. You can see the Chaos Knights fighting against Questing Knights once again, but I think here we're actually pulling back a little bit, sacrificing the Marauders. I think there was just too many archers, and 2 groups of Questing Knights was too much. So you have to be really picky and kind of gamey in this situation here at least, and try and get those really good engagements when you can. Pit of Shades going down in the distance, so we do use Pit of Shades on top of the Bretonnian cav. So the Questing Knights do get wrecked pretty bad here. Chaos Knights here. Oh, that is a cool looking shot right there, and you can see the Chaos Knights just trolling right through these guys, and a little bit of friendly fire there, perhaps from the Pit of Shades, but we do also use Scroll of Shielding to help us win that fight. But 1 group of Questing Knights is down, and we still have a functional Chaos Knight unit, which is you know, a solid win for sure. Chaos Chariot's going to be running in the distance, again, kiting those Questing Knights into the sunset as the HELLCANNONs. Oh, that's going to be brutal! Right square in the middle of Peasants. It didn't do as much damage as I thought. Those were actually some of my troops, but I got really excited there for a second. Sorry about that, guys. So now I'm going to be falling back on top of my halberds. I know that the Bretonnians have a pretty big numbers advantage, and I need to buy more time for my HELLCANNONs. As far as the HELLCANNONs go, 48 kills right here, and the other one on the far side is rocking a whopping 28 kills. So not too much yet, but it's still early in the battle. I have plenty of ammunition, so we'll see how it goes here. Lewin, in the meantime, chasing down my Chaos Knights as well as my Sorcerer. Going to be running here. Obviously, Chaos Knights don't have the best tools against him. HELLCANNON still shooting it against halberds here. And a little bit of a hit right there, doing some collateral damage, doing some solid work. And this Hell Cannon, oh, nice bunch shot right there against those Peasant Bowmen. Just going to be using the Chaos Knights, trying to rotate away from the Questing Knights and just get free picks wherever I can. And the Holy Wardens here are certainly a juicy choice. They're very lightly armored. Chaos Knights hit very, very hard against light armor. And Kolek is going to be dropping a Fat Lord of the Storm back there, zapping a bunch of peasants. So that's a nice one. Able to get some really good damage on an expensive unit. And the Questing Knights now in response are going to be pushing in. So I basically have to fall back at this point because Hadri is getting a really nice concave of fire. But the Hell Cannons are starting to really kind of pepper away at this force. And you can see it's kind of a slow grind. It's almost like playing Nurgle on tabletop where you just kind of win over the course of a long battle. But again, this battle is far from won. Let me tell you that. Kolek's going to be falling back on top of the halberds, just basically at this point defending the Hell Cannon with everything I have. And you can see some of the peasant archers are running for the hills. The Questing Knights here a little bit out of position, so we're going to go for a charge here. And we do get the charge off. The Questing Knights were unprepared for it, so Kolek and the Chaos Knights are going to be getting some kills here, I would imagine. Kolek especially is very hard against such targets. But a lot of firepower coming in. My Hell Cannon getting very, very danger low, so this position probably will be overwhelmed here in a second. Halberds over here, able to fend off some peasant mobs, which is quite nice. We have some Marauders over here, and I think we have some Chaos Knights who came back online as well, and they were able to run up and around. That is the group from the far side of the battlefield. Pit of Shades going down right here, doing some okay damage against the Questing Knights, and now we have the Chaos Knights who are going to basically force path through this damsel, and they're just going to be shrekking these peasant archers here. So in the fourth quarter, pretty nice collapse for sure. Pit of Shades doing some huge damage against those Questing Knights here, and it looks like we are starting to rout off a lot of the Bretonnian archers. You can see just a massive collapse here coming in from the Chaos Knights, just riding through these just squishy peasants. And now for the first time in the battle, it's looking okay for us. It was very, very grim in many circumstances, but the Chaos Knights getting this value train here is very good. Here, the Chaos Knights, of course, are in mortal combat here against the Questing Knights, and it seems to be a relatively even affair, but that's largely due to the fact that I basically have Kolek here with his fat hammer just dropping some bows. Over here we do of course have some halberds fighting, and the Chaos Sorcerers helping out against the Holy Wardens, but they are buffed by Harmonic Convergence, which means they're going to be trading pretty efficiently here until that Harmonic Convergence wears off. And Balance of Fire is still actually probably a little bit Bretonnian favored. Very, very close battle here. Chaos Knights trying to finish off the Questing Knights with Kolek's help, but King Lewin is still in really good shape, and he is always a terror in the night. And if you don't finish off and shatter these peasants, they'll come back in greater numbers. More hungry, more dirty than ever, and it's going to be hard. So there you go. A bombardment attack going right there into those Questing Knights once again, and that is the group of 40 that was basically chasing my chariots into the sunset. So that's another deficit I kind of had to take. Basically, those Chaos Knights got, or Questing Knights got a ton of free resources here, but man, the Hell Cannon dropping some shots on them and doing some serious damage. Over here, the halberds are holding well. We have some Marauders and halberds fending off the peasant mobs. You can see those guys are running for the hills. Marauders should be able to keep them in check. So even if I lose this engagement over here and the Bretonnians are able to kind of collapse and finish off this Hell Cannon and really get into the cookie jar, I should be able to fall back on top of my other Hell Cannon on the far side. Lewin does land here, and Kolek's going to be going for a blow. Foe Seeker, and does he get it? No, Lewin is able to escape that. Holy Warden's still going strong. Enfeebling Foe is active on them as well. Try and finish them off a little bit quicker, and the remnants of my Chaos Knights as well, trying their best to polish off the situation. Lewin over here going to be going after my caster. Unfortunately, my Shadows caster did get pushed out of the main engagement because Lewin was able to get some really nice cycle charges and get in there and take him out. And now my Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows is basically done for. So very well played there. Able to get my caster off the battlefield, and that does give the Bretonnians a bounce of power advantage, despite the fact that we've really shattered a lot of their backline tools, or not shattered literally, but we've done some pretty good damage across the back line. But the Questing Knights are still in okay shape, 44 here and 34 right here. So the Chaos Knights are a little bit beleaguered. I was very heavily outgunned in the Cav game with just 2 Chaos Knights, and I'm really relying on the Hell Cannons to win this game. Over here, this one Hell Cannon has 118 kills, which isn't bad. The other one is rocking 170, so certainly have started to pay for themselves. Granted, a lot of the damage they've done has been against just dirty peasant mobs, and archers and things like that, so it hasn't been like true value kills against like Questing Knights and things like that. So at this point, I'm going to be kind of lurking around with Kolek. You can see Lewin coming in for a bit of a feigning charge onto the Hell Cannon, which is still shooting, believe it or not. Thankfully, it's used all of its ammo, so I would say, I mean, as far as the Hell Cannons go, they've used all their ammo, which is always a sign of general value. Here, Lewin is going to be charging it again, going after Kolek, but I do have halberd support. The Swords of Crone, or the Sword of Crone, is activated as well, which is going to make me a little bit squishier, but, Kolek could give it right back, and honestly, a lot of this game is going to come down to this duel. If Kolek can connect a couple good attacks on King Lewin, I'll probably be able to win this game, but if not, it's going to be really, really tough here. And you can see the Harmonic Convergence here from Hadri is beautiful stuff, really allowing Lewin's melee defense to hold firm against Kolek's melee attack. And also, it looks like Kolek, just on the receiving end of this trade. Also, the Peasant Archers just doing chipping damage one at a time, and the Questing Knights coming in. I actually sent in the Chaos Dwarfs to intercept them, and they just got rode down, which is pretty funny. Hellcan getting pushed back as well, and Kolek's suddenly in dire straits here. I was able to get some really good punches back on Lewin, which give me a little bit of fighting power here. And you can see here the Damsel of Heavens is even coming in to get her hands dirty. But one of the reasons why the bounce power is also rotating out of my favor is because of ammunition. Ammunition is a big factor as it pertains to the bounce of power, and my Hell Cannons are running out. which of course are a very expensive, you know, a unit that requires a lot of investment, right, in terms of resources. So my Hellcannons are out of ammo. This one's destroyed. I got some Chaos Swords fighting. My Halberds are fighting as well, but Kolek's going to be running for the hill. So basically, at this point, it's a bit of a reforming of the ranks, falling back on my Hellcannon, and it looks like the Quest Knight's thinking about charging in, but the Halberds are able to hold back the peasants. And you can see, Quest Knight's going to be charging in. I don't know if I'm going to be braced for this. I basically turned around and try and brace in time, and it looks like it does at least ward off those Questing Knights. My Hellcannon has no shots left, so basically what you see is what you get now. Both players, myself included, are going to be rallying our forces and just getting ready for the final battle for the fate of Middle-earth. So I do advance outward, of course, having nothing to attack with. I do need to engage here. So the Halberds do engage against peasant mobs. And we get a nice little pick, actually. We do go after the damsel and immediately get a terror route. Marauders are basically just kind of squared up to face the northern formation here of these men-at-arms. And the peasants are broken once again. So Lewin coming in for a pretty balls-deep attack. Sword of Crone active, so very good stuff here from Hadri's. Basically just timing all of his engagements with the Sword of Crone to make sure that Kolek is as squishy as possible. But Kolek's coming for that. He's on the hunt, and he's not playing any games. So we're able to chase back Lewin right there. But Lewin still is healing. Kolek is not healing. So the longer this battle grinds out, the better for the Bretonnians for sure. And here Kolek's going to be turning around once again, and we get a pounding attack right there. No, we miss once again. So Lewin's melee defense has been holding up super well this entire game, largely due to the fact that Hadri's has had some really good debuff play. Like every time he goes in for a fight, there's always a debuff in tandem with it. This one lowering melee attack and my armor, of course. And here we're going to be going in with Kolek to chase down these men-at-arms. Yeah, I think we're trying to like break these Questing Knights. I still have a ton of Halberds, so there still is a slim chance if Kolek can do some really good damage against Lewin here, and the Halberds are able to get some shanking attacks as well. That could be something that could get us back in the game. But aside from that, it's looking pretty grim because Questing Knights themselves will also be very good against Kolek, though they don't have bonus versus large. 41 melee attack and 48 weapon strength with good AP values is still enough to get, some steady attacks here. But Lewin's actually taking a bit of a beating. You can see the bounce power does back towards the middle a little bit as my Chaos Warriors here are really holding firm. And we do force Lewin back, so is there a shimmer of hope, actually, guys? Maybe so. And you can see we're going to be going after the damsel now. She's certainly a little bit outmatched here. Going to be taken to town by Kolek, I'm sure. But it looks like Kolek's kind of just eyeing his prey instead of actually hitting it. There he goes. Swinging attack. He does miss. I'm not sure how he missed out. That damsel must have some quick feet, some dancing feet from the Bretonnian halls. And yeah, Kolek's in Mortal Kombat once again. 1100 HP. Lewin's at 2500. Kolek's going to be trying to connect some attacks here. Does he get it? He does. About 300 damage right there. Lewin's armor and melee defense doing its thing. But it's looking like it's pretty much the point of no return as my Chaos Warriors are shaken. And Lewin, of course, does cause terror. So if the Chaos Warriors get terror routed off, it's pretty much going to be game blouses. And that happens. And that is going to be game. So very well played to Hadri's. It was a very, very fun game. Now, as far as the build goes, I was moderately happy with it. Of course, Hadri's is a very, very good player. So if a build can, do somewhat well against him, I think it has some validity for sure. But really, I would say as far as like builds against Bretonnia go, I don't think this build is optimal. And if you're playing in like a tournament setting, I wouldn't recommend it. But again, against like your friends or something like that in a more casual environment, I think it would be decent. But yeah, again, it wasn't it just didn't have enough to deal with like the 4 Questing Knights. That was the big thing. Even though we had some good engagements with our Chaos Knights, we didn't really have the teeth to deal with those Questing Knights. So there's a multitude of other builds Chaos used to bring. Some are still pretty viable, some aren't. But on that note, very well played to Hadri's. Hope you guys enjoyed a glorious Bretonnian victory. Very good play by him. And he really had some great buffing. Sword of Crones, Harmonics, Curses, like it was just so good, and big props to him. So now, guys, we're going to go take a look at some more optimal Chaos builds, because I'm sure you guys are quite curious, perhaps, about some builds Chaos would bring. And this is a little bit more old school. I'll show you guys like 2 or 3. So firstly, let's go to Chaos, which, oh man, the new system, there's so many damn factions. I still think Kolek is the best pick, for sure. He's just like a raid boss. Bringing a second Shaggoth is always very good as well. And I do like the Chaos Knights because they have good dual purpose against infantry, as well as the other guys. What are they freaking called? God, brain, just start working against the infantry and the Questing Knights. Now, Shadows is pretty good. You can also go Death. Death really isn't bad either. So for the sake of this build, we'll go Death, because two Bunas, which you'll certainly have enough wins of magic for if you play carefully, is basically 2 dead Questing Knights. Now, in the infantry fight, you don't really need much quality. Just going for like Marauders is fine. Or if you want to go like very, very old school, you can do a build like this and then just spam Halberds and just like march forward. So basically you would just get like some like Chaos Warriors with Halberds like this, get some like Poison Hounds, and have like a very, very kind of simplistic build where you march forward. The Archers are going to be a big threat, but the Chaos Knights should be pretty good because Kolek and a Shaggoth plus a Buna can really deal with them. Chaos Knights you hit front and center, and when they get countercharged, you pull back through your birds here, as we'll call them. And it's pretty strong. Now that's a build that's good if you want more of like a battlefield kind of contesting build where you're really trying to control the battlefield. You get a couple of Chaos Marauders as usual and just try and win the battle with your kind of mobile pressure. So from here, you can get a couple Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, which give you good counterplay against Lewin. You can get a couple Hounds as well to work with your Chaos Knights, and this is certainly going to be pretty strong. And from here, you can get like another Chaos Marauder. So basically, you have the 5 Chaos Marauders fighting, you know, whatever infantry they have. Chaos Knights are cycle charging their infantry, helping against the Questing Knights. You have Hounds and Shaggas to deal with Questing Knights. You have Marauder Horsemen. A build like this, I think, would be pretty optimal for sure. So very well played. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the breakdown and the post-game analysis, and we will see you guys on the other side. Take care.